Hello, welcome to the Weekend Investing Daily Bites. It is June 11th, episode 29. We are shooting this daily bite every day and trying to get you a flavor of what happened in the market, what happened with our products, and we try to take up one topic for the day for general discussion and more insights. Broader indices, Nifty opened gap up, came down to fill the gap and then opened slightly higher again. Bank Nifty was not as strong and it remained below yesterday's close. But overall, many sectors started to go up today again, and the breadth of the market was quite good. In terms of the sectors, metals took the lead today, so most of the larger metal players were up, other commodities stocks were up, IT stocks were doing well. Pharma actually, some large caps and many smaller pharma companies were hitting circuits today. And PSU banks and banking in general, as I said, took a break. For the week ended today, banks have remained weak in this current last 5 days, whereas IT has done the best at 4.5% up in this particular week. Overall, in the financial year, the metal space has been the best performer, up almost 36% to date. In terms of the weekend investing, small cases, MI30, LTCNX 200, MI25 all were up between 0.5% and 1%. There was not much of change on the ATH and all cap, and there was no specific outperformance or underperformance as such. In terms of the annual the FY performance, they are all reasonably doing quite well so far, and there is no concern on the products as of now. Topic for the day today is inflation and impact of inflation on how we approach the stock markets. It's a very tough subject, and I have no qualms in saying that I am no expert on this and I am not an economist, and whatever I will try to discuss here will be my thoughts. Some may be right, some may be wrong, but this is a very complicated equation that one has to deal with in terms of impact of inflation on your approach towards the market or the stocks themselves, and we'll see how things go. So basic things, what is inflation is basically gradual price rise over time, which is basically the inflation, and the goods or services that you are buying today become more expensive, and essentially your purchasing power tends to reduce over time because your wages may not be increasing the way the goods and services are increasing. So inflation is measured in different ways. There is CPI inflation, there is WPI inflation. WPI inflation is the wholesale basket of goods. CPI is at the consumer level, at the retail level, goods and services. So there are different measures of how they are impacted. Each person has a very different inflation impact based on the goods and services he or she may be using. So it is not really a one variable that you can just apply and derive a solution out of. It impacts different people differently, and at different times it can have very varying sort of implications. So to me it is a very fuzzy sort of problem to deal with, but there are some common themes which are good principles in general when you are facing inflation. So why inflation happens? So there is good inflation and there is bad inflation. So the way our monetary system is built, we want some inflation. right? Why we want some inflation is because unless, if we have no inflation or if we have deflation, there will be no propensity for expansion. Businesses don't want to spend then and create capacities, and that does not percolate down to more jobs and hence more productivity and hence more purchasing power in the hands of the people. So some level of inflation is desirable to keep the ball rolling. But as soon as you allow that ball to roll too fast, it goes into a territory where inflation starts to become a problem, because the economy starts heating up, people's purchasing power or purchasing capacity starts to reduce versus the goods and services they want to buy, demand slackens, and it results into some recessionary sort of situation, or the government comes in or central bank comes in and reins the hot moving economy with higher interest rates, which cools down industrial takeoff of credit and pushes people to put more money into the debt segment or the banks, and it sucks out the liquidity from the system. So there are many implications on this. So basic reason why inflation happens is because when the demand for something goes up, if there's supply of some goods or services but the demand is continuously going up, the prices will go up, just like we see on the stocks. If there is supply of some stock at certain level and there is no more demand of stocks at that level, the level moves up because the supply is not able to satisfy the demand. The other way inflation happens is when demand is not really getting changed, but there is increase in cost of production. So just like we are seeing these days, steel is going up through the roof, other commodities are going up through the roof. A lot of industrial cost of production is going up dramatically. A lot of companies are able to pass on, other companies are not able to pass on. It depends upon the demand elasticity of the demand. So if there is increase in cost of production, companies want to pass on, and that is essentially causing the inflation in the price of those goods. But it may have a negative impact later on that the demand is not able to meet the increased cost, and hence the demand collapses, and hence the prices may have to come down. Similarly, there can be supply constraints, like in COVID times we saw a lot of capacity shut down because of COVID. So then there is supply shock. There is no capacity to run the plant to deliver, but there is demand. So inflation happens in those pockets. So why do we need to beat inflation? Because usually people have limited resources and they have limited purchasing power, and as inflation keeps happening, their purchasing power keeps going down unless their wages or their income is able to beat the inflation. So what we want to do ideally is to have whatever business or work or job that we are doing. Of course we want to meet inflation in that area, but besides that we have kept aside monies for our needs, for our family, for children, for marriages, for education, for retirement. We want that money to not lose against inflation, so that 10 years later, 20 years later, when you need that money, it should purchase the same amount of goods or services that it is able to purchase today or more. If you just put it in a bank FD, for instance, at most times you are actually losing against inflation. The bank FD is designed to basically just about keep your purchasing power intact, but in reality that does not happen. In real terms, you are losing a bit of your purchasing power by keeping it in the bank. You get like 5% in the bank now, and 30% tax if you're paying on it, you get like 3.5%. Inflation is much higher than that, and of course it depends upon your pocket of your basket of goods that so we need to invest in assets or put our savings where we should be able to beat inflation. So let's see the impact of inflation. So when inflation increases, the central bank comes in and it increases the rates to cool down the economy. So people start saving more, the liquidity is down, the discretionary income in the hands of the people goes down because now they have to purchase goods and services at higher cost. So they have little left to save actually. Loans become costly, companies start to cut back on their expansion plans, etc., etc. The cash flows that are projected in the future are now discounted at a higher rate, so it brings down valuations. So the impact of inflation and hence increased interest rates is to lower the stock market prices. Although it is very difficult to sort of have that correlation in front of it, that today inflation is up, tomorrow interest rates will rise, hence third day stocks should fall. It does not happen like that. It's a very fuzzy sort of relationship. Purchasing power, as I said, as inflation will rise, your purchasing power will go down, and hence we need to ensure that our purchasing power is intact. Stock market direct impact, inflation increases. There is a mixed bag here now. So in the initial stages of inflation increase, and this is my belief. I mean, I don't have numbers to provide you a correlation with, but in the initial stages of inflation, you will find that the stock markets will go up, and it will be positive for the markets, and companies will be able to pass on that inflation to their consumers, and more so in the cases of essential goods, pharma, these kind of industries where these are essentials and sort of not so discretionary. But in terms of luxury items, sin items, etc., the pass on will become more and more difficult. So there comes a stage where inflation becomes like a monster in the room, and everybody is worried about inflation, and the central bank becomes very hawkish about the interest rates, and that creates a very negatively oriented sentiment loop where people start to cut down on expenditure, people start to withdraw, making expansion plans. People want to save for that unexpected collapse in the market, etc. So there is a general sense of more volatile environment where to some level inflation helps you, but then at a later stage, if it gets out of hand, then it becomes very difficult to control it, and the demand collapse in that environment becomes a major concern for the market versus the increase in price of goods. So increase in price of goods in the initial stages is very nice. Your revenues are increasing, and hopefully companies are able to maintain margins and all that. But later on, it becomes a sort of a difficult animal to control, and then that's when the really hawkish central banks will come in and clamp down on interest rates and jack them up like in 2011 to I think 2013 there were like 10 or 11 consecutive interest rate hikes. I think Governor I'm not remembering, maybe Governor Subbu was there, and there were 10 or 11 hikes, and that really crushed the back of a lot of MSMEs and smaller companies who were highly exposed to debt, and they could never recover from that, many of them. So it creates uncertain sort of volatile environment if it gets out of hand. Within the different types of stocks, growth stocks usually are not so liked when the inflation is going high, because inflation will go high, interest rates will have to follow, yields will go up, and growth stocks get impacted because of that. They have minimal cash flows, and their expansion plans also get impacted. Value stocks, on the other hand, get a fillip up. Commodities get a fillip up. I mean, they are playing on hardcore asset valuation, which will sort of be in line with inflation or at least beat inflation. So value stocks find more buyers, as we are seeing today also. The way commodity stocks have gone up, the way the old value stocks are going up. And dividend stocks also may witness a drop. This is not so relevant in Indian context. In the US context, the dividend stocks are seen as a very different class of stocks, but not so much in India. So the idea from a personal perspective would be to try and put your money into hard assets, assets which will hold value during uh, periods of abnormal inflation, like the 70s we had a lot of huge inflation. 70s 80s we had a lot of inflation, and value of land, value of precious metals, some particular stocks, or some art or things of that nature, where the actual value of your currency is dropping, but you need to park it in some asset which will beat the inflation over time. Cryptos may be another avenue, but I'm not so sure about that yet. So momentum is something that we are following in the stock market, regardless of these outcomes. So momentum will follow the trends in the stocks or in the index, or the basket of stocks that we are following, and it will automatically take care of these things, in the sense that as and when the inflation will start to hurt the market, momentum will take care of it and claw back on its exposure. Momentum is very least understood style of investing in the market. People think that it is just a some fad, or it is just chasing stocks, and you will not be able to get out when the market falls. There is nothing like that. There is 200 years of research and proper data behind it, and it has beaten all other types of types of investing over time. So momentum is one place where I feel that you will not be able to wanting to make a judgment on when to buy, now that there is inflation, when should I exit, so on and so forth. Let the system take care of it. So this is all I had for this small discussion on inflation. I'm sure I've maybe missed a lot of inflation orientation points that a classical economist will be able to give you, but this is the best that I had for you. So keep writing your comments. We're happy to receive them and improve upon, and I'll see you on Monday now. Thank you. Bye bye.